What's going on, everybody? We are back again, another afternoon show, Wrestle Purist Live, with myself and Ibu, better known as Backup Hangman, and we're going to get into a very eventful past couple of days of news stories and updates, and we're going to try and, especially the CM Punk and Jack Perry incident, we're going to try and break that down because there has been a lot of different reports from different places and stuff like that, and we're going to try and make some sense of it. You know, we're gonna we're gonna try and make the best sense of it as possible for you guys, so everyone kind of knows what's been going around and what's been reported. And like I said, I'm gonna try and make it as easy to understand as possible. First things first, please like, subscribe, super chat, always appreciated. Post notifications, turn them on. That's also always appreciated. And I hope everyone is doing good, and especially my fellow co-host Ibu. Very eventful past couple of days. How are you doing today, though?
Still not used to this time slot for us. It's gonna
Jet
take.
lag.
Yeah, I'm really messed up and didn't sleep well, but I'm doing okay, man. Today's news is somewhat annoying. Some of the recent stuff that's come out since we were last live at Worldwide. But I'm looking forward to breaking down everything with you, and we'll see how I feel coming out of it.
Yeah, we'll see. Okay, so the three big stories that I've kind of circled, and we'll get into some more stuff if we have the time to. Um, but of course, there's the CM Punk and Jack Perry incident and All Out, which has reportedly resulted in the suspensions for both of them. There is, of course, the Mercedes, the AEW news and momentum that's been picking up lately regarding that, and of course, John Cena. John Cena is coming back. He's coming back for what seems like a not a full run, you know. Some could call it that, I guess. It's 7 weeks, you know. You can do a lot of stuff in 7 weeks, you know, but he's coming back for a pretty decent time, you know, and it seems like he's going to be doing quite a lot of stuff. He's already been announced for the house show, the Super Show in India. He's going to be tag teaming with Seth Rollins, so we're going to talk a little bit about that and what we'd like to see him do and what we think he might be doing, etc., etc. But yeah, man, very eventful. I know the people are probably waiting for your takes, especially on this CM Punk and Jack Perry incident. Have you got any like quick notes before we start breaking this down? Because there is quite a lot to get through, Ibo.
Um, any notes that I had that I gained today, Sean already reported it out. So that's the thing. Sometimes I have these little kind of nuggets that I want to give you guys on air, and then like by the time we get on air, Sean already threw it out on that select. You got to move fast, man. When during times like this. So yeah, I mean, I found out today that CM Punk apparently people close to CM Punk are claiming that he has not been informed yet of any suspension, and he himself has taken notice that he is still advertised for Collision this Saturday and for All Out. And that's true. On their social medias, they have posted videos within the last hour about both these shows, and he is in both of these promotional videos. So that's kind of interesting considering Sports
Yes.
Illustrated. Sports Illustrated they're real pros. They're legit. They're not bullshit. And they're almost the mouthpiece for AEW as an official on an official capacity. So if
Mm-hmm.
AEW tells them that CM Punk is suspended, you would imagine CM Punk is suspended. But again, Punk hasn't been told this apparently. So that was the nugget I found out today, and we'll get into everything in detail and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, man. It's okay. Let's get into it. CM Punk and Jack Perry have been suspended due to a physical altercation that took place between the two at AEW's All In pay per view at Wembley Stadium, just as the pay per view was about to start. This, of course, has been all over the news since Sunday. A lot of reports from different places, a lot of different versions of events, depending on where you look and who you ask. There's been a lot to keep up with. We're going to try our best to, break down the information that's out there as best as it can and make it as easy to follow as possible. I think the best way to go about this would be to break it up into 4 different parts. So we'll give a little bit about the background and the context of what built up to this incident that took place at All In. Then we'll go into the incident itself, such as CM Punk's side's version of events, the other sides of the event, We'll go into after that. We'll go into what happened directly after, who was sent home, who was sent home, and when they were actually sent home. Then after that, we'll get into kind of the reaction, the fallout, the suspensions, etc., etc. Um, but yeah, a lot of like I said, a lot of different reports from different places. You've got Sean from Fightful, you've had Wade from PW Torch, you've had Mike from PW Insider, you've had Nick from House of Wrestling, you've had Brian and Dave from Wrestling Observer. And now, of course, as EB mentioned, you've got Justin from Sports Illustrated as well. So that's like what 5, 6 different sources that I've just listed off. So a lot to keep up with.
Ah!
What's up, people?
Just all of that. Just all. Oh my god!
It's a lot. It's a lot. I can imagine. It's enough to drive a lot of people insane. It's probably drove me insane trying to kind of get the notes together of like and put it together like this. So let's dive in. Let's just dive straight in. So to give some background and context, there was reportedly, according to Fightful Select, a spot at Collision that Perry wanted to do and wasn't allowed to do. So to get into that, Perry was brought to Collision to film a segment, and according to those on the side of Punk, Perry wanted to use real glass for a backstage segment. Punk was of the belief that if he did this, he didn't need to come to work the next week, and he wasn't happy about it. Also, on Punk's side of things, Perry was going against production, doctors, and Tony Schiavone, asking him not to do it, saying it's a safety hazard, etc., etc., and Perry wasn't happy about it. Punk's claim was that he was asked to step in and calmly said that they don't do that on Saturdays, and if he doesn't like it, he could stay on Wednesdays. Word of the situation made its way around the locker room, and it was referred to as an argument between the two. Punk's claim was that Perry was throwing a temper tantrum, and it wasn't said how the situation ended, but several that Fightful heard from agreed with the stance that Punk claimed. Dave Meltzer said, I believe it was on Monday, that after all this kind of came out, it was said that it was over and done with between Punk and Perry. But of course, after this past weekend, clearly not. Fightful Select have reported recently that Jack Perry wasn't happy with how the situation was relayed publicly by those close to Punk. PW Torch touched on this and said Perry felt that the story getting out was an attempt by Punk and his camp to show him up or embarrass him. Thus, Perry decided to fire back. And Fightful Select have also recently reported that Jack Perry had told a couple of people that he was planning to make a comment during his match with Hook, which he went on and did on the AEW All In pre-show. So there was a spot where, of course, Jack Perry made his entrance in the limousine. And they've done some pretty cool spots on it, didn't they, Bill? They were throwing each other into doors. Jack Perry done the Rob Van Dam rolling thunder onto the bonnet, which was cool. And then when they were building up to the big suplex spot onto the glass, Jack Perry was getting ready to do the spot, and he walks over to the camera and he knocks on the windshield, and he's like something along the lines of, "Look, it's real glass. Go cry me a river." And then he goes ahead and he's about to put Hook through the glass, and then he gets reversed, and Hook puts him through the glass, and it was a pretty sick spot for a pay-per-view. But yeah, Ibu, that's the background. I want to kind of stop after we go through each bullet point, so I'm not kind of just talking on and on for long. So just to touch on the background, I feel like the widespread sentiment is that Jack Perry probably shouldn't be putting himself through real glass on a Collision taping. I guess in the time and the place of Wembley Stadium, it's a different thing. That's kind of where you would save a spot like that for. But where do you kind of find yourself on the background? What built up to the situation we're about to get into?
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of kept up to date with that stuff, and CM Punk wasn't the only person who disagreed with Jack using real glass at Collision. Like, there's many people who advised him not to do it, including doctors and other producers. And when Punk went to talk to Jack about it, he only approached him because people asked him to, because he was almost seen as the unofficial locker room leader / director of Collision or whatever. It was just kind of like, hey, can you talk to Jack, because he really is trying to do this thing, and we're advising him not to. We don't necessarily have the power to straight up say no about it, but he's not reacting well to the fact that we're telling him he should do it. And again, multiple people just didn't think it was, a particularly ideal thing to do. And so Punk basically told him, like, we don't do this on these days. And, if you have a problem with it, then you can just not come to these TV tapings anymore. And it was a tense situation because of that. And yeah, the fact that it's kind of still a thing that lingered and, he's mad about is unfortunate. um, there's been sources claiming that, like, Jack doesn't like that. Jack believes that Punk's camp leaked that story, and he feels that that was leaked to make him look bad. And so that's what he's mad about.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm guessing that's why he took the shot on screen. And in his mind, from what I've gathered and from just reports that have been out, is that in his mind, oh, I'm giving Phil a receipt for making me look bad with the report. But most people internally just kind of didn't think Jack should have took the shot in general, and thought it was kind of just ill-advised and pointless and unproductive. And apparently Jack had been telling some people that he was planning to do that. Like, that was something that was premeditated. It was like something he wanted to just do to get back at CM Punk and inform people that he's going to do it. So that's unfortunate as well. To me, and I said this on Twitter yesterday, and I don't know why this is a controversial statement, but it apparently is. My big reaction to that is, where's the veteran to just kind of go, like, it's not a good idea, kid. Like, don't. And that's not me saying, like, that's not me absolving CM Punk of any accountability he has in this
No, of
overall
course not.
situation. And it's just, to me, like, with the situation being what it is, like CM Punk and AEW and the Civil War and this internal split has been an active, ongoing thing this entire time. We've all been aware of it, right? And so, with the situation being what it is, with the block already being hot, why would you kind of walk out there when you were wrestling before him and you're deciding, I'm going to just take a direct shot on screen to him? And because if you know how he is, that, like, this is probably going to result in an altercation
Yeah, it's
backstage.
only going to go one way.
And so, to me, it appears that Jack basically decided. It's almost like, to me, he just mentally decided, I'm gonna fight Phil today. Like he knew what was gonna happen, because he's not. I don't think Jack. I wouldn't assume that Jack's a dumb person, and so it appeared like he just mentally decided, I'm going to fight CM Punk today. And my question is, why would you? Why would that be the thing you would like to do at Wembley Stadium? you know, and that's not me absolving CM Punk of any accountability on his end for various parts, things that he's done during this entire process. But from the Jack Perry standpoint and the whole glass thing, I don't really get that, and it's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's very much time and the place comes to mind. Whether that's the spot itself, or obviously, ideally, wrestlers are kind of going into business for themselves, and doing something that wasn't scripted and taking shots at other talent or whatever. But that has been something that happens in AEW. So, but Wembley Stadium, not sure is the time and the place for it.
The biggest
Dynamite,
wrestling.
I don't think anywhere is, but like of all places, Wembley Stadium, when it's the biggest event in company history, is probably not the perfect option, But that's so okay. So that's the background. That's kind of like give you some context of like what built. That there was obviously some tensions and animosity between Jack Perry and CM Punk leading into the Wembley show, and so the next thing I want to get into is, of course, the actual incident itself. And I guess depending on who you ask, where you look, where you read up, there's a lot of different versions of events. So, of course, we'll kind of get into more of the broader reporting, and then we'll separately get into CM Punk side of events that have been reported, and we'll get into the other sides of events that have been reported to give you kind of both sides. And I guess the live chat and the people who watch this after can make of it what they want, But okay, so the incident itself. A physical altercation between CM Punk and Jack Perry happened before Punk's match with Samoa Joe and after Jack Perry's match with Hook. This news was broken by Sean Ross Sapp via Twitter, and PW Insider also included in one of their reports that the situation happened near Gorilla. Fightful Select also included in one of their reports that depending on who you speak to, accounts have said that Punk shoved, pie-faced, or threw a punch. PW Insider, they reported that one version is Punk punched him, the other version is there was no punch, but Perry was grabbed in a choke by Punk. PW Insider also touched on and said, backstage, the two came across each other. The prevailing story later making the rounds was that Perry confronted Punk, leading to the two shoving each other. PW Torch reported that when Punk and Perry crossed paths backstage after Perry's match, eyewitness accounts characterized the exchange as starting with Punk asking Perry if they had a problem. PW Torch again. Perry said that Punk started something online and that was his response to it. This was confirmed by Fightful Select as well when they mentioned that Jack Perry saw this as a receipt, like you was just mentioning as well, Bill. Nick Hausman reported that they were told that Punk was waiting in a gorilla position before the show went live for his match against Samoa Joe when Perry entered the area and walked up to him. Punk initiated the verbal exchange between the two, asking Perry if he had something to say, and the conversation quickly escalated, leading to Perry asking Punk to do something about it. And also, Fightful Select. One account claimed that Samoa Joe was trying to be a peacemaker and keep others out of it. PW Torch reports that the incident nearly caused a delay in the start of the opening match as the production crew was scrambling, and that little note was confirmed by Fightful Select. And Sports Illustrated included, when they announced their big bombshell earlier this morning that the two have been suspended, they also included in their report about the actual incident itself. The wrestlers in the 6-man tag, so of course like the Kenny Omega tag that was on very early in the show, they were ready to go. Just in case, like they were there and ready to go just in case. But of course, it turned out unnecessary. And CM Punk and Samoa Joe went out there in the open, and regardless of what happened backstage, they absolutely killed it out there. So, but that's kind of the more, like I said, more of the broader, version of events of what actually went down. So, Ibu, have you got any notes at all before we get into kind of each person's side? Of course, like I said, we'll go into CM Punk's side of events, and then we'll go into the other side of events as well.
There were other wrestlers that witnessed this fight, and said wrestlers had to be restrained from jumping into the confrontation. To corroborate other reporting that's been out there, Samoa Joe was absolutely a de-escalator in this thing. He was definitely not somebody who was a presence that was there to make this worse. And this happened right before they went out there. Big scramble. Punk was adamant to just go out there and do the fucking match, and that's what they did. And a lot of people involved, Punk Joe, thought this whole situation was ridiculous, stupid, and it's why both of them have a really, really interesting grin and look on their face when they're walking out, But anything else I could add has been covered or touched on from the reporting. A lot of like the details on like the point for point, bullet point, what happened and when did it happen is he said, she said. And it's a game of telephone, and it's a game of perspectives. And because we don't have the footage and nobody was really there, it's a bit exhausting to even, I guess, break down and try to decide what's the accurate truth. Because all I know is
so much.
There's so much. What I know is this: it seems that the consensus is they were in each other's face cursing, and there was some, there was physicality. And the physicality ended with Punk putting Jack in a compromised position of some kind, whether it be a face lock or a choke or whatever. And they were separated, and security ran to Gorilla to break this up. And again, what I could add is just that other wrestlers were privy to what happened. Some of these wrestlers were restrained from jumping in to get involved in the literal melee, like the melee aspect of it. So. Yes.
Interesting.
Yep.
So it nearly became a brawl out again, basically.
Yeah. Other people definitely wanted to jump in, So they were stopped by doing
wrestlers,
so by
Yeah, right. You actually brought up a good point about security sprinting back there. Obviously, I was at the show, and we was right by the entrances. And literally, like before the show, obviously when this would happen, literally about 4-5 security guards from AEW literally sprinted as fast as they could into the back. And I said to my girlfriend jokingly, I was like, "Oh no, CM Punk's punched someone in the face again."
Really?
And, and of course, about 10, 20 minutes after the fact, Sean Ross Sapp, of course, tweeted that there was a physical altercation involving CM Punk. So, um, unfortunately, I was close to right on that one. But
Monty,
yeah,
no joke, right? When I was on the WrestlePeers 24-hour live stream, which at this current present state and time is at 42,000 viewers. I want to thank you guys for supporting that. I was in this 24-hour stream watching Jack Perry take that shot, and literally in the moment, Monty, because I was aware that Punk was opening the show, and so I watched this, and I literally say out loud, "Well, Punk's gonna fight him now," and like everybody seems like screaming at me and like acting like I'm being a doomer. I was like, no, he's just gonna fight him. And so when I'm watching the Joe match and Sean reports this 8 minutes into the Joe match, I'm like, yeah, that doesn't surprise me that Punk and Jack had a physical altercation. Like that's, you know, I have a pretty decent read on how these people act at this point and how these people are and how they would react to certain situations. And so I knew that Punk was in Gorilla waiting for his match. And so him watching the monitor and seeing Jack Perry look at the screen and go cry about it, I'm like, oh boy, all right, you know, all right. So there you go. They had a fight.
a lot of scrambling as well. Like I said, the security sprinting to the back. Of course, a lot of wrestlers, trying to calm things down. Some apparently trying to get involved. And, he was got messy for a moment there. And like I said, the guys from the Six Man and Sports Illustrated reported that they were ready to go just in case, but it didn't turn out to be the case. And they had a great opener. But let's get into each side. Let's get into each side of their version of events of what actually happened. And we'll start with CM Punk's side because I believe that is what came up first. Fightful Select reported that CM Punk's side claims that Jack Perry approached CM Punk backstage and stepped in his face and bumped Punk. Punk was said to have then pushed Jack Perry. Perry allegedly came at Punk and got choked. This had a very interesting quote tweet from Miro, which we'll get into when we get into the other side of things. PW Insider reported that the prevailing story making the rounds among those backing CM Punk is that Jack Perry confronted Punk, leading to the two shoving each other. PW Insider also reported that those who are telling the choke story are adamant that there was no punch. Nick Hausman reported that Punk viewed putting Jack Perry in a chokehold as a way to neutralise the situation, as he's a trained fighter and does not want to have a fight with Jack Perry. No punches were thrown as far as we know. So that's the CM Punk side of events. Jack Perry got in his face, and there was no punches thrown, but he choked him out. That's the CM Punk. Well, not choked him out. We put him in a chokehold, and that is the CM Punk version of events. Ibo. Any
Phil is so
reaction at
funny.
all?
Yeah, Phil is hilarious. I'm just picturing Phil talking to Nick Hausman and being like, "Yes, I put him in a face lock to neutralize him, to de-escalate it, because I'm a fighter, and I don't want to kill him. I'm just trying to calm it down before my match." And so I put him in a hold to de-escalate everything. And like it's just and everyone else is just watching. I'm like, they're like, you're literally like, I don't know, beating the shit out of this. I don't know. It's just really funny, like hearing his perspective and how he words things. It's really hilarious, like because I'm a trained fighter, and all that stuff.
He's crazy. He's
but
unique personality.
It pops me morbidly. I don't condone this, but it does pop me morbidly that like he had a situation that heated and just walked off of it unscathed with a grin on his face, ready to just do a wrestling match, and just like, whatever. People fight, like, because you go back to his entrance, Monty. I want you guys, everybody listening, to know that the entrance that you saw from CM Punk was quite literally roughly about 4 minutes after the altercation. Literally, he just got into a fight. Everybody pushed themselves off each other. People are scrambling. He's telling Tony, "No, we're not changing the match. Let's fucking do the match. Play my music." And he just walks off with a grin, and he's just like, "This fucking place." You can't make this. You can't make this shit up. You can't make this up. No.
Absolutely. All right. So let's dive into the other side of events.
Right.
Right. So, as I mentioned, Miro had something interesting to say regarding the Fightful Select report of Punk alleging basically he came, that Perry came at Punk and got choked. Miro quote tweeted it and he said that it was, I believe, it's fake and untrue. The quote tweet was, and of course that got interpreted in all different ways. Some people thought that the report of the fight actually happening was untrue, or you know, but the actual thing I think he was trying to say was that version of events was not true. So that was Miro's input on the situation. Fightful Select reported that other accounts alleged that CM Punk threw a punch and that Punk stepped to Jack Perry first. Fightful Select in one of their reports also claimed that other accounts claimed that CM Punk initiated things. They exchanged words. CM Punk got in Jack Perry's face and pie faced him. Punk allegedly grabbed Perry in a front face lock and it was broken up. PW Insider reports that several sources claim that CM Punk went after or, depending on the story, hit Jack Perry. PW Insider also reported that the other sides are passing that the other sides that are passing that punch story around. Who started it is, as you might guess, dependent on who is telling the story. PW Insider also reports that the other version is Punk was waiting for Jack Perry when he returned after his match. As they previously stated, from there, the first story was Punk struck Perry. However, the version that is becoming most shared is that Perry was caught in a choke. PW Torch reported that sourcing indicates that CM Punk got in Jack Perry's face and asked if they had a problem. As words were exchanged, Punk pie-faced Jack Perry and then restrained him in a face lock and then threw some punches at him before he was pulled off. Fightful Select reported very recently that one source said with 100% certainty Jack Perry didn't throw the first punch. Punk shoved him and put him in a choke. So that is it hasn't been called the Jack Perry side of things, but it's just been called the other side of things, from I guess different eyewitnesses and people that were I guess there was quite a lot of people backstage for the opening match of their biggest pay per view ever. I can't imagine it was very quiet around Gorilla at that time. So it was like I said, that's the other side. Like Miro, he was very quick on the scene, Ibu. We aggregated the Fightful Select report of the Jack Perry came at Punk and got choked, and that was the tweet he decided to quote tweet, calling it fake and untrue. Miro's a interesting character when he decides to get involved in these Twitter situations.
He never It's funny. You never know where his head is at, whose side he's on, what's going on with him, what his motivation is for these things. He's just Miro, a little unpredictable, a little eclectic. Fascinating guy. He said it's fake and untrue, and I'm sure that's his perspective, and I'm really curious. Because he didn't specify what aspects of it were not true. I'm very curious which ones were. Like was it that like Punk just straight up ran up on Jack and beat him up, and that's what Miro saw? Like I wonder, but because he didn't specify, I'm going to imagine maybe his perspective on things is the perspective that was covered by other reporters that was opposite of Punk's perspective. Which and with those other perspectives generally being that like Punk was slightly more of an aggressor in escalating the situation from a physical standpoint. Maybe.
Maybe. Who knows? There's, like I said, a lot of different versions of what happened, and it's hard to kind of piece together what the prevailing story is. There's, like I said, a lot out there, a lot of different sources trying to give credit to each piece of each person's reporting. But a lot going on, a lot of different sides apparently giving their version of events. Miro, of course, being very public with his, although he didn't give many, if any, details at all. But yeah, that's the other side. So I guess it's kind of depending on who you talk to. Did Punk throw a punch? We don't know. Was it who started it? That old typical playground shit. Of who started what, who started shoving who started cursing first, etc., etc. So I guess it's just left up to interpretation for now. But yeah, let's get into the next part, which is what happened after, as in directly after, I guess, in the stadium. So PW Insider reported that Jack Perry was told to leave, and CM Punk was still at the venue at the time of their writing, which was pretty quickly after the incident started to get out there. So yeah. PW Insider then later added that Punk left the stadium about an hour after his match. PW Torch reported that both wrestlers left the building. Perry was asked to leave first because his match was over first. Punk left after his match. Brian Alvarez on Observer Radio said security escorted Punk back to his dressing room and stayed with him, and he was later then told to leave. Nick Hausman reported that CM Punk, knowing that the situation was not good, asked security if it would be better for everyone if he left the building, and was told that nobody was asking him to leave, but it might make things easier if he did. Punk agreed, left the building of his own accord, walked to his hotel, and ordered Nando's. PW Torch reported that in the aftermath, Punk, in the heat of the moment, was threatening to quit AEW over his frustration with everything. Punk has made it clear since his return that he wants a drama-free locker room environment. Either CM Punk apparently doesn't want no drama. Apparently he was ordering Nando's. Apparently he wasn't sent home. He left on his own accord. And apparently, according to who you ask, he was asked to leave by security. So I don't know what you make of any of that. But that was the immediate aftermath of what happened, according to reports.
League sources indicated to Hanger Select that.
Stop it.
League sources indicated to Hanger Select that CM Punk's personal motivation to go and get Nando's was just that, him sitting there in his locker room with the security just standing there to watch him was just, not particularly an ideal situation. And he chose to leave when he did without his friends because he didn't want like a bunch of just attention drawn to like people that didn't deserve to just have all this like people crowding him, so to speak. So there you have that. And he did indeed go to eat some Nando's. So
fair.
Yeah,
It seems like American people love to do that when they come over here. I personally don't think Nando's is that great, but
what is it? Is it a chicken spot? What is it?
Yeah, it's like a grilled chicken spot. So that's what.
Do they have good fries?
No. No. It's very unfortunate, but like I said, when Americans seem to come over to the UK, it seems to be one of the places that they love to check out, But it's a solid 6 out of 10 from me,
Wow.
Nothing special. Anyway, speaking of, I guess, the UK and being a tourist, CM Punk, according to Nick Hausman, had some very interesting travel issues, Ibu, and we're going to get into those right now. So Nick Hausman reported that when CM Punk landed at Heathrow Airport for AEW All In on Saturday morning, no one from AEW was there to greet him. There was also no car service there to take him to his hotel, and when he texted a number he was given by AEW for the driver, it bounced back as being an invalid number. Yikes. Nick Hausman also reported that after waiting for a while, CM Punk chose to buy a train ticket and find his own way to his hotel. We are told that the tube was fairly busy at the time. CM Punk got lost, and a few fans who noticed him helped him find his way. And there was actually some fans got pictures with CM Punk on the tube, so we know he was at least on the tube. We know that part of the story is correct, but yeah, that's quite the issue with having CM Punk kind of stranded in London, That's it comes across very sloppy, doesn't it?
It definitely does. Questionable for sure. I'd imagine it added a lot of extra frustration just going into getting to Wembley, even preceding all the things that happened when he was at the venue. So it's unfortunate, I wonder if there was some specific travel arrangement made for Punk, because I can tell you guys this: CM Punk arrived in London later than most of the talent, and it's because he wanted to spend an extra day with April and his dog. And so he arrived late, and he got there and was pretty much stranded. So I wonder if he told Tony he'd be late, and that there was a plan to arrange something specific for him. Either way, that didn't happen. I reached out, guys. I reached out to AEW for comment on the travel situation, and I did get feedback, Monty. I got some feedback for that one. So let me just open this up real quick, and I'll come right back to you right now.
Okay. Just to fill some dead air while you're doing that, he was, of course, going around on Twitter that the guy who apparently puts together, like the travel coordinating for AEW was, he got caught out liking like anti-Punk tweets and all kinds of stuff, So a lot of the people with the tinfoil hats on and the conspiracy theories have definitely been having a field day with that little nugget of information. But, that's not something that has been like reported or anything. That's just kind of a nugget going around on Twitter.
Okay, so basically, I'm sorry, I can't report some of this, unfortunately. But what I can say is that even though it looks very odd on the outside, the heat and the blame is not on the travel coordinator Grillo. It was not his task to organize this for CM Punk, apparently, and it wasn't his fault that Punk was stranded. So even though it appeared as if there was some weird situation brewing there, maybe some conspiracy, AEW has stressed to me that it wasn't Grillo's fault, and Grillo didn't orchestrate that or set that up, and it wasn't his responsibility to set up Phil's travel. So it's a bit of a mishap, and perhaps CM Punk and Tony had some type of agreement for something that didn't happen, but it wasn't the fault of Grillo. And Punk arriving a day later, I think basically they've indicated to me that affected also travel arrangements for him when it comes to transporting him over versus other talents when they arrived on Thursdays and Friday.
Yeah, man. So, like I said, CM Punk has some very unfortunate travel issues. Oh, we got AO in here. I'm gonna let him in because
I'm gonna just talk for 2 seconds because I don't have my headphones on and I know Monty hates the echo and shit. The idea that a multi-millionaire 50-year-old white man can be stranded in a first world English-speaking country is fucking ridiculous, Hangman. Stop infantilizing this man, alright? He's grown as fuck. He's 50. He was alright, bro. He's got money. He got to his hotel safely. Okay, Ibu? Don't worry. Your daddy's okay. I'm out.
I didn't use that phrasing to try to paint him as a victim. I mean, it's an unfortunate situation. It's something that's obviously inconvenient. It is an inconvenience, but he's not a starving child in without a parent in a desolate country. He's just a guy who didn't have his travel arranged for him, and it's an inconvenience. I just meant stranded as in like he didn't know his way around London, and wrestling fans genuinely had to kind of guide him to his hotel, which is kind of like charming to me. I wish someone had video of that, but yeah.
Getting up Google Maps, like, you just gotta go over there, mate.
Could you imagine people just sitting in the train with him, just like, yo, man, so like, what are you gonna do with Joe? And the thing is, like, knowing Punk, he would if they asked him like, what are you gonna do with Joe? He's just gonna be like, I'm gonna beat him up and retain my title. Like, he'll just semi-kayfabe with the fans and shit,
Well, yeah, that was a Big AO, member of the Wrestle Purist universe, getting his little 1-2 shot in on Backup Hangman, as he loves to do.
I don't know why. I just said what happened. Like,
yeah, we all love AO around here. He's one of our top stars, especially over on the Twitch.
The live chat has me crying. The live chat was going nuts, and then someone said AO cashed in his money in the bank.
He just ran in here,
Yeah.
This is meant to be our professional show,
Yeah, right. We're supposed to clip this up for content and shit.
Anyway, God bless. Shout out AO, of course, member of the Unpurist universe every Friday. Anyway, let's get to the reaction. Of course, we just went into kind of the aftermath, and we touched took a moment to touch about the travel issues and stuff like that. But let's talk about like the actual reaction, you know. So Tony Khan came out at the media scrum and pretty much immediately he acknowledged that there was an incident, but he says that there is an ongoing investigation and he won't be commenting on it. So of course nobody asked him about it at the scrum, as you can imagine, because we wouldn't have got anything out of him. Fightful Select reported that neither CM Punk or Jack Perry were at AEW's All-In after party, and Punk headed out of London Monday afternoon. Nick Hausman reported that it does not sound like there has been much, if any, communication between CM Punk and AEW since last night. Of course, that was reported on Monday. PW Torch reported that one veteran AEW wrestler tells PW Torch that Tony Khan has fostered an environment where younger wrestlers without a lot of experience in national spotlight feel free to go into business for themselves, online or live on TV, to try and settle scores or send messages. This actually has included veteran wrestlers too. That same wrestler does feel that Punk overreacted to Perry and should have let it go, but believes more firm leadership would dissuade from some wrestlers from sparking these types of situations. PW Insider reported that there was quite a few people upset that the altercation happened, feeling that it was going to potentially upstage AEW's massive accomplishments that day. PW Torch also reported that another AEW source close to management believes that Jack Perry in this situation will end up with more of the blame than CM Punk because he initiated the situation with his comments live during his match, since he should have known it would cause an issue. Several people in AEW, wrestlers and people in other roles, are frustrated with the fact that a behind-the-scenes incident with CM Punk once again distracted from historic high point in AEW. Fightful Select reported that there was a lot of eye-rolling and this again type responses to the CM Punk altercation. Fightful Select also reported that people close to Punk say that there wasn't much communication between he and Tony Khan after the incident. Punk has went as far as telling people that he hates this place as a result of the constant issues in AEW. PW Torch reported that PW Torch's sources' early belief is that Perry will face more ramifications than CM Punk. And then later on, Brian Alvarez of Wrestling Observer reported that the belief within AEW is that CM Punk and Jack Perry are both suspending pending the results of an investigation. Sean Ross Sapp followed up on that this morning, saying that he has heard a lot more traction to the idea that Jack Perry and CM Punk were suspended for their physical incident at AEW All-In. And then earlier on this morning, Sports Illustrated pretty much confirmed as much. As we said, they've kind of been, you know, for like some of their official announcements, they have been the mouthpiece for AEW when they want to put something out. Like a lot of people remember recently that Sports Illustrated was the first place to put out and get the information that the Elite had re-signed with AEW. So like when AEW want to announce something big, that is usually the publication that they'll go to, Sports Illustrated, and they reported that CM Punk and Jack Perry have both been suspended and an investigation is taking place to determine what happened. Sean Ross Sapp recently reported before we went live that CM Punk has not been informed that he was suspended. So unless something else has come out whilst we've been streaming for the past 45 minutes or so, that is where we're at right now. Both men have been suspended according to Sports Illustrated, which is very, you can be very comfortable in believing them. But according to Sean Ross Sapp, who again is very, very credible, as of course I'm assuming a lot of you already know, he is saying that CM Punk has not been informed that he was suspended. And if you guys remember correctly, at kind of the top end of the show, Ibu also said that according to some people that he spoke to, that Punk has not been informed of his suspension either. So
he's aware of these suspension rumors and reports. He has just not been told this
in an official
anybody
capacity.
in the company. Yeah, in any official capacity by anyone in the company.
Maybe he needs to check his emails. You know, it could be something as silly as that. You never know.
Could you imagine, Monty? He opens, it says Perec, mega. You have been issued a 20-day fucking suspension without pay. Nah. Yeah. No. Listen. He's aware of the rumors and the innuendo that he is suspended. He is awaiting any official confirmation from anybody and hasn't heard from anyone about what his fate is. And he's also aware of the fact that he's still being advertised for Collision and All Out.
Mm-hmm. I have a really tough time seeing him not being on those Chicago cards, bro. So it would definitely be the choice, regardless of how they deal to, you know, conduct the investigation or whatnot. Even if you have him just for the Chicago shows and then, you know, put the suspension in place after them, because, you know, at the end of the day, the Chicago fans, they'll be the people most fucked by this, you know. But that's, of course, not to excuse that, you know, some wrongdoings have absolutely occurred. Um, you know, very, 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 very unfortunate time for this to go down a week before the Chicago pay per view. So, you know, um, obviously, a very interesting note is CM Punk reportedly saying that he hates this place to some of his, to some people, to multiple people, it seems like. So he, you know, he seems very frustrated at the moment and very unhappy, it seems, even. I personally couldn't see him getting out of his contract or anything like that anytime soon, you know. But yeah, CM Punk doesn't seem. It seems like he doesn't seem very happy in the heat of the moment yesterday.
No, he was very, and multiple people have said this, but he was just very frustrated on the day of this event. And according to people close to the situation, he was just saying a lot of things in frustration in the heat of everything. Among those is what was reported, which is I hate this place. And yeah, he was just very frustrated about this, what happened. It's part of why he chose to leave the venue, which again he is claiming and his camp is claiming that it was his choice to do so and an agreed upon decision with him in security. But yeah, people close to the situation say that Punk's stance on the whole thing at the time was just that he was so disappointed and very disheartened with what happened. He felt disrespected by Jack Perry and just very upset. And so a lot of those quotes are coming out at a time when he was feeling in that way. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, it's an unfortunate situation, and people are going to have their perspectives, and that was his.
Yeah, it's probably worth noting as well that the CFFC promotion that CM Punk, yeah, he does. I believe he does some like color commentary for them for their fights. He has been promoting a date that was pre-arranged that he'll be doing this Saturday. So if he's been promoting the card basically, so it looks like he's going to be working on Saturday on UFC Fight Pass for Cage Fury, and he's going to be doing commentary. So it looks like he's not going to be at Collision, and you know, the go home show before Chicago All Out. Should I say? Maybe they maybe they don't book him for All Out, maybe.
Well, I mean, if he's not booked for All Out, then it's not All Out. It's Fastlane. What are you gonna do? That's gonna be an interesting crowd atmosphere for sure. I'm really curious how just the fans will react to that. I wonder how many times they'll chant for him. And I mean, it's a blow. It's a blow to a card that I already was kind of iffy on, to be completely honest with you. I already in my head decided like this is gonna hinge on Mox, Eddie Kingston, Omega, Takeshita, and whatever Punk does. And then Mox is not facing Eddie Kingston; he's facing Orange Cassidy, which, as good of a match as that'll be work wise, that still just feels like a dynamite match to me. It doesn't feel like one of the matches that are going to be the marquee headliners of a pay per view, especially when AEW doesn't do them frequently. So right now we're looking at this card. The big matches right now on paper are Moxley versus Orange Cassidy and Kenny Omega versus Konosuke Takeshita, which could have felt monumental coming by the time we got to this point, but it really just doesn't. Work wise, it's going to be excellent. But I think All Out, as it currently stands, is frankly pretty missable. So it's unfortunate. It really is unfortunate that it kind of went this way. Already an ideal situation that it was a week after Wembley, and so it's a week after Wembley. It already affects the build and the anticipation of the show, and now CM Punk can't even wrestle in front of his people. So if that is truly the case, And I still find it a little hard to believe that that's what's going to happen. You know, part of me still feels like Tony's just going to have him do the show and then serve a suspension. But listen, he may very well not. And so I'm prepared for either result. And either way, this whole situation sucks.
Yeah, it's absolutely very poorly timed. Like I said earlier on in the show, a very significant thing that sticks out to me about this story has been time and a place. You know, of course, like I said with the Jack Perry comment in the first place, it's of course, there's never a perfect time to take a shot at someone off script, on camera, but Wembley of all places, then of course CM Punk on his end, it's kind of like he does be the bigger man, don't react in such an extreme way, and because it's tough, man, and of course you get kind of what you always get on Twitter and other social media sites. You got the people who will fight the CM Punk side very strongly, you got the people who will fight the Jack Perry and the other side very strongly and very against CM Punk themselves, and you just kind of get this mess online, and it becomes very exhausting to kind of read through and read the people going back and forth and read the people try and get the parts of the reporting that they want to get out there the most, that puts the people that they want in the good light out there, and so I guess that's kind of been a lot of the motivation behind trying to put it together for you guys, to be honest, and try and make sense of actually what's out there, so everything that's out there, because like I said, there's been a lot of people kind of putting out one side and there's been a lot of people just putting out the other side. So we try to give at least a very even, balanced representation of what's been reported so far. And we do our best, but it has been a mess in terms of all the different information that's been out there, the way people have been taking in the information and regurgitating it, etc., etc. So
it's been absolute stream, Monty.
Okay.
CM Punk is suspended.
We know. You mean he's been told?
He might have been now, but it's just been confirmed to me by people within the company that he is just straight up suspended.
Okay. Well, whoever has informed you of such, ask them how they have gone about contacting CM Punk about relaying this information to him, because that's the actual part I thought you was going to drop on me,
But that Mr. Brooks himself was informed of his suspension.
Yeah, so someone has told you, like, CM Punk has received the message that we have, suspended him or whatever it is,
This investigation is not going to take as long as the Brawl Out one did, and it was just indicated to me that he is also suspended along with Jack Perry. AEW has already made, they're making creative adjustments on the fly as we speak for the creative going into this weekend, and it appears as of right now, Tuesday afternoon on August 29th. It appears right now that CM Punk will not be wrestling at AEW All Out.
Yikes. AO, you've joined us again.
So what do you guys want to talk about?
Well, we were forced to talk
what
about
we spent the last 55 minutes talking about, brother.
I'm not here to derail the show. I know this is a real professional production that we do here.
We're trying to make clips.
I'm just here to, sprinkle my 2 cents where they may be needed, where they may not be needed. I heard from a little birdie, I heard that a certain wrestler got suspended. It's truly unfortunate with a couple Chicago shows popping up soon. But it's okay, because the god of professional wrestling, Kenny, by God, Omega, is just going to pull a fucking 5-star match out of his fucking asshole on Sunday night, bro. Save the fucking show. Send the Chicago crowd home happy. It's just what he does, bro. Just big elite things. Kenny Omega is someone you can trust to make the towns, be professional in the building, not accost anybody without warrant. You feel me? Just be like Kenny Omega. Fuck, man.
I'll tell you what, AO.
AO's big lesson and takeaway from
I'm
this whole
looking at- I'm looking
situation
at
is
Kenny Omega.
be more like Kenny Omega.
I'm looking at this card for All Out. For this to be worth $50 of my money, Kenny Omega needs to have the greatest wrestling match of all time with Konosuke Takeshita on this card.
So the thing is, right, Ibu and Monty,
Yes.
it was never going to be worth $50 of your money. I don't care, bro. Ricky Starks versus CM Punk strap match. Like, even if you're the biggest Ricky Starks fan in the world, and even if you're a backup Hangman when it comes to CM Punk, that's not making me pay $50 for a pay per view, bro. Like, it's not.
For me, my whole thing in my head was like going into this last weekend. I was thinking in my head, okay, you got the Ricky match. They'll probably do Moxley versus Eddie. That'll be phenomenal. Omega Takeshita, and maybe they throw one other thing, and I'll consider it. Right now, because I'm not getting Mox Eddie and Punk isn't on the show, not only am I not going to pay for the show,
You're watching it, bro. Don't even insinuate you're not gonna watch it.
I'm gonna watch it.
Don't even insinuate you're not gonna watch it, bro.
That's the
He was about to try and get that shit off.
Yeah, but what have I told you for months, Ibu? I told
What's
you
up?
for months, bro. Like, Mox Eddie's not happening at All Out, bro. Like, he has to get through Claudio first.
You know what's the funny
So
thing about
they're
it?
gonna do the Claudio thing first, and then they're gonna circle back to Eddie. I mean, then they're gonna circle back to Mox.
You know what's the
which is
weird
like,
thing about it, though, AO? I agreed with you in terms of, like, you watch the show, and the show is telling you it's Eddie Claudio first.
Yeah.
Mox is the big end game. That's what the show is telling you, right? AEW, in spite of this, was telling me it's Mox Eddie at All Out, and it's a multi-person match of some kind at All In. And so I was like, that's kind of weird, but okay. I trust you, AEW, despite your booking telling me something else. And then we find out.
And then the scrum comes, and they're like, all right, it's Mox Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, I'm like, what? I'm like, okay. Like, I mean, that's what it looked like it was building to, but
obviously, me and you have different sources and stuff. But it's just
right.
I never got told that Mox Eddie was happening at All Out, but obviously, you talked to some pretty important people at AEW. So do I. But you know, there's different levels and shit to this. But for them to do all of this and then somehow pivot to Mox versus fucking Eddie in a week, I don't know, bro. That shit never really made any sense.
That is something you do want, like, to be, you know, seasoned and built up in a really emotionally poignant way on television. And it does. You wouldn't have the opportunity. Here's the thing: Eddie Kingston and Mox are so great that they could have, with one promo face to face, done that in a week's time. They could have done it,
but it wouldn't do the feud justice.
Right. So, you know, I'm not bummed out about that overall, but it does dramatically affect the quality of this upcoming Sunday show, just in the same way that for WWE Payback the night before, Gunther and Gable not being on that show dramatically affects the level of quality and interest in that show as well. So we got two in your houses coming up this weekend. You know, we got two in your houses.
It's better than nothing, but not what it should be. You know?
AEW in your house is crazy.
Yeah, it is. It's nuts. It's nuts. There's crazy. There's probably like 7 2021 Dynamites with better cards than All Out.
You know, a lot of people have said in the live chat that at times like this, having a streaming deal, or in particular the Max deal right now, would be such a good thing for them, because asking your fans to shell out $50 for a card that has, of course, took a lot of unfortunate turns, you know, many of which outside of the power of Tony Khan and the people actually booking the show. But, you know, whether that's injuries, whether that's the suspensions to CM Punk and Jack Perry, etc., it's and now you've got to go out there in Chicago. And, you know, CM Punk mentioned at the media scrum that, of course, like, he's going to make money from the show because they've already sold like 10,000 tickets. They've done as well as they have with All In. They're going to sell some pay-per-views. I think he said even if they don't sell any pay-per-views, they'll still make a profit on putting on this show. So, but don't show that with the card that you're putting on. You know?
That was I laughed as soon as TK said that, because it's like, bro, he's like preemptively telling you this buy rate's going to be fucking shit. And I'm still going to make money from it, even though the buy rate's going to be shit, guys. We're just like...
That shit doing 90. Here's the thing.
If it hits 90, bro.
No, I think AEW fans are loyal.
Yeah, they do have kind of like that low base of like
they
110 at least,
base,
you know.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you what. Monty, that's really the big issue here. If this was like WWE, where it's like it's a streaming show, like for example, this Payback show, Monty, like if you asked me to pay $50 for Payback, I'd tell you to go fuck yourself. You know what I mean? I tell you to go fuck yourself, right? But because it's just a Peacock show that they sold tickets for, that they barely care about, and there's gonna be another show in a month, it's like, yeah, who cares? It'll be a fine little show, and one or two of the matches might be cage match. You should check that out, type of things. And in the same vein with this All Out show, Ayo, if you told me this All Out show is available for free for everybody subscribed to Max, I'm not making any complaints about it at all.
Right.
Yeah, it's just content. You know, it's another show. Cool. Like, who gives a shit, right? Because it's 50 that I'm like, if you're making me pay $50, give me $50 AEW content. You know, and it's hard to create something that's $50 worthy a week after the biggest show ever in wrestling history, and this being the leftovers of it.
Absolutely. So yeah, they've got a lot they need to try and figure out, and I'm expecting a lot of what's the best word I can describe this as? Excited, frantic Tony Khan booking on Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, where he just it's just like, this is happening now, you know, like random matches thrown on the card to bulk it up a bit and stuff like that. So
he's gonna go death before dishonor mode, where like week of,
yes,
he's just like, all right, you know what? I'm sorry, guys, my fault. He might just throw in he might be like Ray Phoenix versus Vikingo. Fuck it, like he might just start doing out of canon cool matchups to make you like care about the show.
Even looking at like the perspective card for All Out, right? There's nothing there that you're just like, oh, we don't get this on Wednesdays and Saturday nights. Like it looks like a Dynamite card, or even like for the Colliders, it looks like a Collision card.
Luchasaurus versus Darby Allin is a Collision match.
Like, come on, bro.
Miro versus Will Hobbs is a Collision match.
These are collision matches that people aren't even necessarily like excited about.
Miro versus Hobbs. Miro versus Hobbs is pay-per-view worthy on paper.
It is, but it's just like it doesn't have the same shine on it as it does a year ago. Bro.
I'll put it to Ayo.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. 100%.
Ayo, would you have seen Young Bucks versus Lucha Brothers steel cage for the title on a TV episode? I don't think so.
Absolutely not.
Like that's what you know what I mean? Like
absolutely not.
Like so. Would they have done CM Punk's first wrestling match in 7 years on TV? No, they make you pay for that. So that's the thing. There aren't matches on the show that are like, wow, I could not see this on a TV or a TV special. You can make the argument, maybe Omega Takeshita, but I could see that like a year ago or 2 years ago, they do that on a special Dynamite.
You can't even really make the Omega Takeshita match argument because it's just like, what the fuck have they done with Takeshita since turning him?
Right.
Like it's not like this has been built up like masterfully or anything like that. Like they turned him, and they're just like, all right, man, just like hop from the BCC to the Bullet Club to whoever's gonna let you get in a multi-man match to fight Kenny. Like it's just, bro, this is still like you can still salvage this, but it's not been done well at all so far.
Omega versus Moxie was given us for free months ago on TV.
Yeah, no, they've done Omega versus Daniels. They've done Omega versus Danielson on free TV, bro. Like, of course, they've absolutely swung for the fences with a lot of their TV matches, and I think that's more so of them doing pay-per-view matches on TV rather than like bringing down other matches that they could put on pay-per-view. For example, like to the example I said, Miro versus Hobbs is something that would not look out of place on like the undercard of even the show we just seen the other day, you know. I'm not saying it's pay-per-view worthy in the sense of that's going to make you buy the pay-per-view, but it's not Luchasaurus versus Darby Allin, you know. It's which you know that could end up that you could see that on like a Rampage, you know. But you know, it's like I absolutely agree with a lot of the sentiment of, you know, this just ain't $50 is brutal, basically. That's kind of but you can take. That's what you can take from it at the moment. I guess on Thursday when we do the Dynamite review, we may have a different opinion on it.
And mind you, Monty, there was a stretch of time when I was happily willing to part with $50 of my money every few months for an AEW show, and I in fact did that for a streak. I want to say Double or Nothing 2021 up until
more bad.
Double or Nothing 2021 all the way up until like maybe Revolution 2022. I paid for every AEW show. Didn't even bat an eye.
Yeah, bro. I think I've paid for basically all of them except I think I've paid for every AEW pay per view except for All In because I was there, so I definitely paid for it. Know
Right.
that, but in terms of actually purchasing the pay per view, I think I've bought every single one except for. But obviously, it's very different for me over here because I'm paying £15, $17.99, $19.99. You guys are getting hit with $50 flat. You know,
$50 is crazy.
it's crazy. We've got it very nice in terms of the pay per views over here. It's like even with the big boxing fights, you know, it's like you guys are in the tail end of Mayweather's career paying like $100 pay per view. You know, I think the most expensive he gets over here is like $49.99, like the absolute expensive, most expensive. I'm not even sure if that's right. It might be like £30, but I'm just saying that to be safe. But you guys, you know, you've got it tough over there.
Fucking Dana White will ask you for like $80 for a UFC card.
Yeah, that's brutal, bro. I think we have to pay like $19.99.
Yeah, bro,
I think
it's insane.
$80 off the hope that maybe somebody gets knocked out is crazy.
That's it's tough. But like we said, we'll see where we're at on Thursday when we do our Dynamite review and see where we're at then. And I guess after Saturday as well when they can have a swing with Collision. But yeah, man, that's Jack Perry, CM Punk's current situation. Of course, they are currently suspended. We've done our best to kind of go over the details of what happened, the different sides of the, you know, sides and different versions of events and all the different reports. And what else did we go over? The aftermath, the reaction, the response, the consequences, etc., etc. And of course, we've just talked about what this might mean for All Out, and it doesn't look good. But the other big news we want to get into, Mercedes Monè, she was at All In. She was there in attendance. She was shown on screen. A name came up. I believe it said it was something like she was a 7 or 8 time world champion. Pop. She got a big celebrity reaction. She had the big shades on, you know. Definitely popped me. But there's a lot of momentum building in the thought that she could be AEW bound very soon. So I want to get into that. So of course, like I just previously mentioned, she was spotted in London before AEW All In actually. You know, she took some pictures and stuff, and people started to get very excited, as you can imagine. And then, of course, she was shown on screen, as I mentioned. And then after this, of course, a lot of fans were getting very excited about the idea of Mercedes Monè in AEW. It seems like it may be a real thing. And Fight for Select followed up by reporting that they can confirm that there has been recent conversations between the two sides and that Mercedes is open to appearing, with one source even showing heavy optimism that the two sides will be working together. Another source spoke as if it was already in the works. PW Insider reported that the expectation backstage in AEW is that when Mercedes Monè is cleared, of course she's currently injured, she will be coming in for appearances. Also, that she would have likely already debuted for AEW at the TD Garden for the Blood and Guts show if she was not injured. Tony Khan at the media scrum after All In said that Mercedes still isn't cleared, but he thought it would be great to have one of the big international stars come and see the show, and that there is a lot of potential for things that could happen there with Mercedes. So, Ayo, I know you are absolutely all about Mercedes Monè supremacy. It's quite exciting news.
What if Monty? What if Ibu? Sunday night was the night that did it, and Mercedes Monè fell in love with All Elite Wrestling, and she's just like, I have to be there.
And then she went on Twitter.
And then she went on Twitter and was like, "Get me the fuck away from these freaks, bro."
Bro, did you know that this is like semi-related? It just goes to show you the type of person Mercedes is. Did you guys know that she has like if you pay or subscribe to her Instagram, I believe it is, you can be in a group chat with her?
Yeah. And I just feel like, as much as I love Mercedes, bro, and as much as I don't think she could do any wrong,
that's a bad idea.
The way that she talks to her fans in that group chat is like absolutely part of like the parasocial problem she has with them and shit. And just like Nicki Minaj gets a lot of shit for like encouraging the Bayhive on Twitter or whatever, but at least she's just like tweeting out to the general public. And I'm no Nicki Minaj fan, but just like, Mercedes is like telling these people, it's just like if these people aren't gang, get on their ass. And I don't know, like
Monty,
I don't think that's a great idea.
Monty,
Mercedes probably don't do that.
Monty,
But
she was like, I love crew, but not fake crew, and y'all know who fake crew
y'all
is.
know who fake crew are. Like as if she's like telling them to like
funny.
go and like destroy their lives and shit. It's like Mercedes, don't do this. Like,
and so a lot of people are screenshotting things she's saying in there, and like I think people even caught her saying like, "Don't screenshot." I'm like, "What are you doing?" But the funniest one today, Monty, was someone I think posted something along the lines of like just the IWGP Women's Championship, and she was like, "I love that belt. Who's holding it now?" And I was like, "You don't even know who's holding it."
I'm fucking crying.
And it was at that moment that it hit me. I don't think Mercedes watches wrestling outside of the show she attends.
Well, the thing is, even if she did watch wrestling, it's just like the holder of the belts had one fucking title defense in like 200 days.
Mm-hmm.
So it is what it is. Almost nobody fucking knows who holds that belt.
Well, it's not a real belt. It was just a proper Mercedes to like hold it while being contracted to Blue Sea Road. You know, like let's be real. Let's be real.
And then they created another prop.
Another prop belt. Yeah.
Does TK create a prop belt in AEW for Mercedes?
No, he'll just give
a women's mid card belt.
He'll just give her one of the
mid card.
Yeah, come on.
A women's mid card. I mean, she's gonna. People are thinking that she's gonna show up, grab a belt, and then fuck off for like 3-4 months, and then show back up with her belt, and then do her thing, and then fuck off for another 3-4 months.
I think that if Mercedes told Tony, "I'll give you 6 appearances to the end of the year," he would give her the title.
And he should. He absolutely should.
Yeah, I agree.
He absolutely
should. Bro, she's a different level of star, man.
For real.
And she's actually like really good as well, you know?
Mm-hmm.
She just happens to be one of the greatest American women's wrestlers of all time. So, you know. And she's, you know, she can still go, bro. It's not like she's winding down. I guess you could definitely make the point that she's winded down in terms of dates, but you know, she's still fresh. She's still fresh, bro. She can do it at a very high level, as we've seen in this run that she's been on, wrestling all the Joshi wrestlers and stuff. So would it be an absolutely huge get for them? And if she does come in, she does need to be like straight to the top. You don't do no mid card bullshit, you know. She's got to climb the ladder.
This is her journey to the top. Like they did it with Danielson, they did it with Punk, and I think it made sense with both of them, but it wouldn't make any fucking sense with Mercedes. It's just like, who are you keeping her in the mid card for? Like, who's fucking Saraya has the belt right now, bro? It's just,
to me, every women's champion in the Bushiroad AEW orbit right now is just holding a belt purely to have a match with Mercedes. I think Saraya is holding her belt because she's going to wrestle Mercedes. I think that Mayu Iwatani is going to have a rematch with Mercedes. I think that Julia is holding the New Japan Strong Women's belt purely to do a U.S. New Japan show main event with Mercedes. So
that's the actual match I need.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Out of everyone in AEW, out of everyone in Stardom, out of everyone on the Indies, and everyone outside of the WWE orbit. And even in the WWE orbit, to be quite frank with you, you know, I need that Julia match. I need it. The world needs to see Julia do her shit, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I think she can be a huge star that can cross over, and I mean, she can do some great stuff in the US. To be honest, I think her ceiling probably goes past Stardom. As much as Stardom is an absolutely great promotion that is growing and going from strength to strength, and it is legitimately the second biggest Japanese promotion, including men's promotions. So it's and although Stardom is great and she's a massive part of it, I think her ceiling is like a worldwide phenomenon. You know, I think she could be awesome. So
people think that that New Japan main event against Mercedes was transformative for Willow's career. Like, I don't think the impact is going to be close once Julia gets in the ring with Mercedes, bro. Like, if you, like, I remember Peps did a really good job. Shout out to Peps tracking this for Impact, but like Peps tracked Impact's tweets, like the engagement they did on their tweets. They had 3 tweets get to like cross 1,000 likes during the last Multiverse show, and like 2 other tweets got like close, so got like 800 likes, and then nothing else was even close, and they were literally all about Julia. Anything they tweeted about Julia went crazy on Twitter. Everything else just did like whatever, like the normal whatever.
She's a star, man.
Yeah, bro. Like she's a huge star. She's only going to take off like even crazier from here. Once you get her in the ring with Mercedes, bro, it's going to be over.
Absolutely. Book it for Wrestle Dream, Tona.
Not for literally. Book it for Wrestle Dream.
Yeah, man, I ain't messing around. But anyway, so Mercedes to AEW is picking up a lot of traction. Like I said, it seems like it is something that is seemingly more and more realistic after AEW ruling and her appearance in London. So we're going to go straight back over to the Jack Perry stuff because there's been some more news that's come out. So Nick Hausman has tweeted, here's a follow-up to what Sean Ross Sapp reported earlier about CM Punk not being made aware of his suspension by AEW. From what I gather, AEW has not directly contacted Punk about his suspension, but he was informed about it by his lawyer. So CM Punk does know, but it was just relayed to him through his lawyer rather than directly, which a bit weird.
Oh,
I guess.
Fucking brother. Wait, so he was doing that whole nobody's told me anything, bro.
No. I don't know why Nick. So I'll be forthcoming, Monty. I received a text 20 minutes ago that basically like said like Punk's lawyer just told Phil, and okay. I didn't say that part because I just couldn't confirm that or cross confirm with other parties, and so but since Nick Hausen confirmed it there, that's probably what happened here. I think Punk put out that like I wasn't informed, and they probably would just hit up Punk's lawyer like, yo, tell Phil he's suspended, and then boom, now there you have it. You know what I mean? I think it was like that type of thing. Continue reading the report.
No, it was a tweet. It wasn't a report. It was just a tweet. So yeah, Punk was informed about it by his lawyer, and then Dave, in the most Dave fashion ever, he just simply tweeted, Punk and Perry are definitely suspended, full stop.
What a fucking beast. What a beast, bro.
He said, no, that nigga is suspended. Like that.
Yeah.
So what the fuck does TK do to make it up to fans, bro?
He might come up with the most crackhead, fan-friendly, cool matchups to put on the pay-per-view, Ring of Honor style.
Julia.
Like he's got to get somebody from outside AEW on this pay-per-view.
That nigga, bro.
Okada was begging. He was begging to be on All In.
Bro, you free this weekend?
Nah, for real.
Yo, bro, you free?
And Osprey will take the booking too. Like he's got to be something.
Yeah, he probably would.
Yo, Shingo, you want to wrestle Hangman Page, bro?
Like you gotta figure something out because the card as is right now, like, no, bro, no, absolutely not.
Okay. Absolutely maybe it's a short investigation and they get
they get this wrapped up on Friday night. Get this wrapped up.
I'll tell you what.
Speed it up, you know.
Knowing Tony, he'd probably want to. He's gonna exhaust all options before Punk not being at the show.
The thing is though, right, Ibu, it's just like it's low key out of TK's hands at this point. He can't say we're getting a third party investigation and just be like, also third party investigators. Let's hurry this thing up. We got a show on Sunday. It doesn't work like that.
You are completely right, and it not being in his hands is pretty much the reason why Phil's not working the show.
No, if it was in Phil's hands, not only would he work the show, TK gonna fluff him a little bit before that curtain call time.
Bro, Tony loves Punk. If it was up to Tony, he'd no-sell a lot of this. Yeah. And just like...
He'd just be like, come on, Jack. Like, what are you doing?
And he'd just be like, yo, Punk, work the show, and then we'll figure out what happens after that. You know? Yeah, but, he can't do that.
But yeah, just wanted to throw that in there since this is the big CM Punk, Jack Perry, what happened video, you know. But... yeah, we spoke about that. We spoke about Mercedes. Last thing I want to touch on it because I know this absolutely popped myself and yourself. John Cena is returning for a proper run. It seems, you know, he's going to be around for
8 appearances.
Yeah, so
wait, what?
Ayo, John Cena's locked in for 8 appearances.
That's crazy.
Bro, 7 of them consecutive.
He's doing. Right, let me just get this up. So this Friday, that was already announced like a week or two ago. So he's going to be on this Friday SmackDown, and then starting from September 15th, he will appear on 7 consecutive episodes of SmackDown. So he's around. He's going to do some stuff. I want to see what sort of things people want to see him do, man. I want to see him in there with LA Knight. You know, whether it's a promo segment, tagging with him, something. You know.
I genuinely don't know if this was announced because I don't pay that close attention, but they told me that he was going to do an India house show where he was going to be teamed with Seth Rollins to work Imperium.
Yeah. So I said it at the top end. I always say it on the top end of the show.
Really? Oh, my fault. I'm sorry.
But yeah, he's doing that as well in India against Indus Shah, I believe. So
no, it's
they're facing for the titles, aren't they? Indus Shah versus Sami and KO. Yeah.
So is LA not a babyface yet?
He's a babyface now.
Yeah. Definitely.
That only took fucking 5.
He didn't even do like a big turn or anything either.
They're just like, oh, you guys can cheer for me now. Yeah.
He didn't even do that. They just stopped like putting him up against
heels and you just kept letting him do his thing.
Yeah.
Because he's working the Miz now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw that shit.
Yeah. So before it was like before they would go up against like Rey Mysterio and shit like that, you know. So.
Yeah, bro. Look, remember, we were talking about it that one time, bro. On I believe it was an episode of SmackDown where Rey Mysterio is putting over Santos as the future of Lucha Libre, and he loves him, and he's this and he's that.
It was all emotional, sappy, and they're hugging.
Yeah, and the crowd getting really behind it, and all this and that. And Santos comes out, the crowd's very happy to see him. He's over, etc. Of course, Ray just said so many nice things about him. And then LA Knight comes out, you know.
LA Knight came out, right? And to interrupt this really sentimental moment where Ray's talking about how proud he is of Santos. And he's like, oh, give me another of that crap. Like, cry me a river. And the fans are like, yeah. He's like, these people didn't pay to see this melodrama. They paid to see LA Knight. And the fans are like, yeah, let's go, yeah. I was like, wow, bro. They're booing.
Bro, Triple H really put LA Knight up against like every over babyface. Is like, this is the week he finally gets booed, right, guys? Right, guys?
Fans like, no, bro.
No, it's not the fucking week, Hunter.
Ayo, that segues into a Ray LA Knight match. And Ray doesn't get booed at all. In fact, Ray is so beloved that he'll have heated matches with people that aren't even over, like Karrion Kross. And the fans during the LA Knight Rey Mysterio match are chanting LA Knight, and then Ray got booed. Like Ray's office is getting booed. I was like, "Yo, what?" So that tells you right there.
So they've got something special on their hands, man. They've got something special on their hands. But yeah, man, LA Knight, John Cena, get him in there. You know, get him in there.
Personally, I want Gunther to cripple John Cena, not literally, but like you know, I want him to destroy him.
Yeah, beat him up.
Gunther giving John Cena a stretcher job on Cena's last appearance would be fire. Let's circle this back to Mania season if they can't get Lesnar.
Nah, that's fine.
100%. Oh, yeah.
It looks like John Cena's really bored because of the actor strike. Like he's just fuck it, I'm over.
Bro, because if you remember Ibu, like his first appearance with WWE this year was literally like WrestleMania. And I was like, all right, well, he got the match out of the way. Because last year in 2022, he was just like, oh, fuck, there's only one SmackDown left of the year, and I haven't gotten a match yet. Like, I can't break this streak. So he goes out there, his music hits. He does, like, fucking, like, 80 seconds worth of offense, tags back out, and it's just like, all right, man, I got my one match of the year. And then this year, he's just like, yo, I can't let that happen. Like, he got his one match of the year out of the way. WrestleMania, bro, that shitter match against Austin Theory. Yeah. And I was just like, all right, we're not going to see Cena again for the rest of the fucking year.
Hey, yo,
then the actor strike comes around and he's just like, yo, sign me up for 2 months worth of dates.
He told Chris Van Vliet like maybe a year or two ago, because the guy's like, are you like retired? You just don't want to wrestle? And Cena said he said two things. He said, yeah, my body can't do what I used to do, but he also said he said my appearance rate in WWE is that way because that's as much as I can appear. He said genuinely, like, if I had other openings, I would appear on their TV more. But he said, like, literally, if you don't see me for like 12 months, it's because like that's the next opening because of my acting schedule. And I thought that was bullshit. I was like, you know, that's what The Rock says, like whatever, right? But no, the minute there's an actor strike, he's like, yeah, I'll do 2 months of TV. That's
crazy.
It's crazy.
Beast.
Yeah.
He's
Where you at?
Everyone loves to see Cena at this point, you know.
Except he ain't coming back, bro. Even if he wanted to come back, like he doesn't want to be seen as the guy who had to crawl back because Hollywood shut down and all that shit. Like, he's just gonna sit home, fucking chug his creatine, lift his weights, and pray for the fucking next Fast and Furious script to hit his fucking stoop.
Monty, could you imagine Triple H being like, "What do you think, Dwayne? you and Roman at Survivor Series? What do you think, Dwayne?"
Does he even think about it? Does The Rock even think about it?
No.
Yeah.
In this situation?
In this situation, bro. Like, Triple H calls him next week.
He'll bob bro. He'll bob his head side. I'll tell you this. I can confirm this. Triple H has called Rock like 3 to 4 times, like late last year, basically on some like, you can't pass it up. You and Roman, LA, and like the early word was just kind of like Rock was like, I mean, sounds good, but like Hunter never got a yes, And, the internal word of WWE was like, if Dwayne doesn't confirm with us by like January 10th, we're just gonna do Cody and Roman. And like the day came and went, and Rock ghosted them niggas, bro.
Owned.
When The Rock confirms for Mania this year, and they get that Cody Rhodes plan up out of here, Ibu, I'm afraid the things you're gonna tweet about that man that day.
I'm afraid as well. But yeah, anyway, Cena, he's back. He's back for a while, it seems. Good stuff. And yeah, man, Ibu, Raw was last night. Becky Lynch killed it in the main event with Zoe Stark. What else did we get? We got a couple more tributes to Bray Wyatt.
Yes.
We got a Steel City street fight announced for the tag titles.
Payback.
Man. We got some more Gunther and Gable storytelling. We got a Gable match. Yeah, so it was a decent show last night, wasn't it? Got any highlights?
Yeah, I mean, the big takeaway is like a lot of matches were pushing 20 minutes yesterday. So that's Hunter's strategy when he's just like, I don't got that many ideas for TV. Let's just let
boys go out there and wrestle.
Yeah, he does that sometimes. Where like some of these Raws, he walks in, he's like, I don't fucking know, bro. Let New Day wrestle for 20 minutes, and they did. And Monty, I theorized this last night when I was watching this on StreamYard, and I got to confirm that what happened was Xavier Woods was just like, yo, if matches are getting time, like let the New Day fucking wrestle. And so he was like, all right, there you go. And so New Day and Viking Raiders had a fucking 17-minute wrestling match. Which,
God bless 3-hour shows.
Wait, so what's the tag championship match for Payback?
It's Dean Jericho versus Balor and Priest, and it's a Steel City street fight. I would main event with this personally, but they're not going to because it would discredit Seth Rollins' title so much.
I'll have to watch, I fear. Yeah. Oh, Seth Rollins is finally going to main event a pay-per-view.
He is. He finally got it.
This is the most here nigga damn main event of all time, bro. It's the most here nigga damn pay-per-view.
It's like, all right, bro, it's payback.
You're like, all right, my nigga. Like, damn, nigga, you've been begging for 3 years now. We got payback coming up. I guess, nigga.
Now, Triple H has gassed it up like it's a big deal. This is your chance, Seth. You're going on last.
Those other fucks just had all in. We gotta show them. We gotta show them the big leagues is like. Payback this weekend, Seth. Your main eventing, brother.
It goes even funnier, AO. He's also like, hey, I'm not putting Gunther on the card, so they're not gonna have you looking crazy.
Oh,
I'm
fucking wait!
I'm a set.
I just seen that shit too. Gunther Chad Gable off the card. This bullshit, bro.
It's main eventing next week's Raw, and I was so heated. Bro, and I WWE's official response to me was, we see how good it's doing in the ratings, and we already sold out Payback, so we're gonna have them wrestle the last 25 minutes of Raw next week to hold the number up in hour 3.
Is there any chance Gable goes over?
20% chance.
Yeah, there's a chance, but I'd say Gunther's definitely the favorite. By the way, they've told the story.
When does he beat the Honky Tonk Reign?
2 days after that, Raw.
Oh, okay.
Literally next week or something.
Yeah. But it really feels, Monty, like they set up Payback to where not only set main events, we're setting up the card so that you probably will have the match of the night, but he's still not going to. It's going to be the tag title match. So. I don't know. Raw was solid. It was a straightforward show. They just did a bunch of long matches, ran video packages, some go-home angles. And I ended up it didn't so I got sent the lineup early and it didn't look like an interesting show, but the wrestling was good enough to where I prefer this format over like shorter matches and like just bullshit in between. So yeah, let the good wrestlers wrestle. Let them wrestle 17 minutes. You know, you're gonna get some good stuff. And the match that they kept short was the Bronson Reed match. God bless. Ciampa got a win. Good for him. And the big takeaway, yeah, is Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch had a Falls Count Anywhere match with Zoe Stark. And it was quite fun. I thought it was actually the best WWE TV women's match in maybe 2 years.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I thought it was the best TV women's match in WWE in 2 years. They brawled around the ring. There was like table spots. There was manhandle slams off platforms and things. And Becky took a Stratusfaction off like a ledge through a table and stuff. And a bunch of chair shots. Trish Stratus.
I just get a handicap at one point.
Yeah, Trish Stratus accidentally threw a chair right into Zoe Stark's like shoulder. They just fought hard. Becky felt like a star, and Zoe Starks is a decent little wrestler. She's a decent worker. You know, the follow-up Trish Stratus match on pay-per-view doesn't have a prayer of even approaching this match in any way, shape, or form.
Did they give it a stip?
Steel cage.
That's not enough.
It's not enough.
It's not enough.
It's not enough.
Low-key, just make it Hell in a Cell while fucking plunder under the ring. Have a bunch of run-ins. We could get something out of that.
Yeah, but modern cages, they just don't use the cage properly, bro. There's an art to it, you know.
Especially in WWE. Not even to Fed bad, but especially in WWE, steel cage matches have turned into, all right, have a wrestling match, and also there's a cage here, and also really just trying to run away from the cage. Like it's just like it's not.
Yeah, the whole escaping the cage thing is bullshit.
It's terrible.
It stinks. It stinks.
Defeats the point, you know.
Yeah. Other takeaways of Raw. Drew McIntyre's teasing the heel turn. Monty, I know you want him to beat Seth as the heel champion. I don't know.
We're gonna be cooking song.
I don't know if that's what I want to do. It looks like
if it's not Gunther, it has to be Gunther or heel Drew. I think
the TV.
I'll put it on Knack. Just throw it on Knack.
I'll tell you what. Those who were on my Twitter space know where I stood with Shinsuke Nakamura 3 weeks ago, and they've done a pretty surprisingly good job of making this like a dramatic personal story where Nakamura wants to end Rollins' career with his real shoot back injury and all that type of thing.
Seth said that he wants the Tokyo Dome Nakamura.
Yeah.
You know?
Hey, yo, Shinsuke, Seth got the mic and he was like, "What happened to Nakamura that main evented the Tokyo Dome? I want that Nakamura."
Seth loves Twitter, bro.
Yeah,
he just loves Twitter.
He knew all the fan engagement accounts are gonna quote that tweet, get their 7K likes. You know?
Oh my god, Tokyo Dome.
And then the funny thing is, he said it and paused, and the fans are like, "Okay."
you thought they was going gas for the
This is the exact cadence. What happened to the Nakamura that main evented the Tokyo Dome? What happened to the Nakamura that had NXT on fire? What happened to the Nakamura? And all these pauses, like the fans are just sitting there. I'm like, damn.
What city was Raw in last night?
Memphis.
Brother, you thought the fucking Memphis, Tennessee crowd of Monday Night Raw was going to pop crazy for the Tokyo Dome?
Funny enough, though, they were into the show, and every match they just kept chanting, "Whoop that trick."
That's hilarious.
Have you seen that match yet?
I haven't seen it. I'm going to watch it, though.
You need to.
I'm going to watch it. I'm 100% going to watch it.
Hey, yo, they were doing black church singing, like while Trick was fighting Dragon.
It's
Bro, Whoop That Trick becoming a
there's a whole review of it by me and Ibu on the channel, you know.
Trick gon' beat your ass.
Trick
gon' beat your ass.
That's
Trick gon' beat your ass. They were singing that while these niggas were chopping each other. I was like, what the fuck is this?
That's fucking funny. How did Trick get this over? Just fucking carrying Melo's weed?
He's one of the most charismatic people on wrestling TV.
No, I will say though, every time this nigga has a microphone in his hand, bro, like he's
cold.
He's doing something good to great with it. Like, I've never seen Trick with like he made being a dick rider seem cool, bro. Like that's how charismatic he was. Like he made that dick rider gimmick seem cool.
Trick Mellow Gang, baby.
The funniest part about it, if you watch it on TV recently, right? You know what they clearly just decided, yo, we know you're not like, we know you can't wrestle, but you are so saucy that we just don't care, and we've had enough. and you're no longer a dick rider. We're gonna just put you against super workers and hope it works out.
That's
And
fire, bro.
Dragunov and Trick had like a 4-star match.
They giving him that Karrion Kross industry plan push. It looks like it's actually working with him.
Yeah, bro.
He's so charismatic, man. It's,
bro, yo, Monty.
There's definitely something there, bro. I
Monty
think
wants
we
him to
can.
be medal for the title.
Fuck it.
Yo, we might get some real. Look, I mean, we all know the plans with the title right now. I'm not saying I'm against them necessarily, but if Trick can keep getting rave, I know everybody's not fucking Ilya Dragunov, obviously. Like,
yeah,
one of the best wrestlers in the world. But like, if Trick can keep getting like
crazy
like,
matches,
at least like passable matches, like.
He just needs to not embarrass himself, bro. Yeah, he just needs to not embarrass himself.
Put the belt on him. Fuck it, bro. Let him.
they gonna throw Dijak on him, and they gonna tell Dijak, "Hey, do your big man flips."
Yeah, do all your big man flips. Like let Trick catch you once or twice.
Yeah. Could you imagine that Dijak going for like a crossbody and Trick just catches?
Trick just fucking catches him, bro.
Yeah,
fucking fall away slam. That would be gas. That would be he catches Dijak's big ass. Fall away slam, gets up, starts pounding his fucking chest, howling. Yeah,
all you see is the Floridians dancing in the crowd, fucking chanting and serenading.
Whoop that Trick! Whoop that Trick! Get him!
This shit was like a Negro spiritual. Like niggas is dancing and shit, bro, in the crowd. I was like, what is this, yo?
Yo. All right. Oh, I'm about to get out of here, but I saw one super chat with my name in it, so I'm just read it real fast. I'm gonna get out of here.
Yeah, put it up.
Glick Foley $5 super chat. Ayo, bits and trolling aside, who do you genuinely think is more in the wrong in Punk Jack from what we know? All right, well, I wasn't there. I talked to a bunch of people that were there. Ibu's talked to a bunch of people that was there. I don't know who's more in the wrong, bro. I'm not gonna. What I will say is though, like. It looks like, even from a nigga that wasn't there and doesn't have all the facts, it looks like Jack was like, I'm gonna bait this stupid motherfucker. And Punk fell for it, bro. And as a grown man, you can't fall for it. And Jack Perry, as a grown man, can't be like, on the biggest night in company history, I'm gonna make this shit about me, or make this shit about the Elite versus CMFTR, or make this shit about me versus CM Punk. Like, you can't fucking do that, bro. Like, a lot of people are depending on the talent to help make this night go smoothly, and Jack Perry ain't helped them, and CM Punk definitely ain't fucking helped them. As a grown man, you can't just fucking bite the bait, bro. Like, yeah, you getting fished into doing something stupid. That doesn't mean you have to fucking do something stupid. That's my take on it from what I know so far.
I'll tell you what I didn't get to mention earlier about this thing is the feeling from the talent I've spoken to, Monty, was generally just annoyance. Like, they're just like, they just think the whole thing is really stupid, and they just like are really just like, man, what the fuck, bro?
That was a lot of the reaction that was reported as well. You know, just kind of a lot of eye rolling and this again, and you know,
and it wasn't only at Phil, and it also wasn't only at Perry. It was just like the whole thing was just
like, the whole week, man.
All right, man. It's been real, y'all. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all.
Yes, sir.
Man.
I'm out.
Bless. All right. Okay, we're gonna do some super chats. We're gonna answer some questions, and we're gonna get out of here. We've had a lot of viewers. Appreciate everyone who's came in and stopped by. And don't forget to please like the video, subscribe if you've enjoyed the content that you've. If you're a new viewer, that is, subscribe. If you you enjoyed this conversation that we've been having. There's a lot more stuff like this on the channel. And speaking of which, actually. The Trick Williams Ilya Dragunov match that we've done a match review of. There's a separate video of us just reviewing that. It's like 10 minutes long. It's on the channel. You can go find that out because we had a good time talking about that one, so I clipped it up. But yeah, man, let's dive into these super chats. And like I said, don't forget to like and subscribe, people. We appreciate everyone who's here with us on this crazy past couple of days of news, you know. All right. Willie 499, appreciate you very much. Good afternoon. Caught Trick Williams versus Ilya last night instead of Raw. When Trick threw that godly 3-punch body uppercut combo, I may have ascended. Hey man, he was cooking in there, bro. He was getting carried, but he was still cooking, you know. Donald 199, appreciate it. CM Punk is innocent, just like I'm innocent. Wow, no comment on that one. Ronald 199, I stand with CM Punk. No comment on that one either. Jacob Donnelly, $5. Appreciate you. Since this incident basically happened in a gorilla position, was TK right there chanting CM Punk as he was choking Perry? I don't know. It's not been one of the versions of events I've heard. O'Shea, 199. Appreciate you very much. I would let CM Punk choke me whenever he wants to. Pause. Hold on.
Hey, yo.
Let's keep it PG, Cody Wills, 499. Appreciate you as always, brother. Afternoon, guys. This is donation for the Please Monty put all Wrestle Purist shows in podcast form after they've concluded fund. Love the new afternoon shows, brother. Doing just the flagship show on the Thursdays and putting it on all the podcast platforms it's a lot of work, brother. It's not a lot of work. It's just it's a tedious job. I'll see if one of the other guys want to do it, but I just don't have the time to kind of like download all the podcast audio for them and re-upload them up to the podcast platforms and stuff like that. It does take a minute. So we'll see. We'll see. Linnea Harley, $5. Appreciate you. Does this drama hurt Tyler and Becky Black happening next year? Does this drama hurt Tyler and Becky Black's happening next year, money being equal?
That wasn't a likely thing to happen overall.
Ticket sales being bad, but ratings being good means what for AEW? Ratings aren't good in comparison to what they've done in previous years. They may be good in the context of earlier on in this year or something like that, but it depends of what bar you're holding them to, because like when they do like a 0.32 now, it's seen as a good number, whereas before that wasn't the case. Do you know what I mean? So whereas
That's a good point.
So it just depends on where you hold them to. It depends what bar you hold them to of what you class as a good rating for Dynamite. But I wouldn't say the Dynamite ratings are. I don't think it's something that I think Warner Brothers Discovery are definitely happy with them. You know what I mean? That's why they've given them even like Collision and Rampage and all that stuff that they let them do. But so I'm not saying they're bad. They're just not. It's not like notably good at the minute. Do you know what I mean? Ticket sales are, on the other hand, are pretty alarming. I believe there's only like 6K tickets sold for Grand Slam, which is
Jesus Christ,
quite damning.
Monty, I'm sorry, but a second plane has hit another tower. Brian Alvarez reports that a second near incident happened where Punk came back through the current. What the fuck? Oh, he meant to write curtain, but he wrote current. Run back through the curtain at where Miro confronted Punk and asked him about what happened with Perry, and Punk asked him if there was a problem with him now and if he wanted to step outside.
Yeah, that's not even. It's not quite the same, but it's
I would say that
Where did Brian say this?
Trevor Dame just tweeted it out.
I believe.
Yeah, he's on it. He's doing Observer Live at the minute, I believe. So okay. He probably would have been on that.
I believe that this happened, even though I didn't hear anything to this because it's kind of minor. But look, Phil's go-to, you confront him is, do you want to go outside or do you have a problem? So that doesn't shock me. But I would say that confronting CM Punk right after he walks through a curtain when he's CM Punk and on a situation like this is probably not the best time. But look, that would make a lot of sense why Miro kind of decided to insert himself on Twitter. Maybe they just had an pleasant interaction.
What if Punk just beat the shit out of Miro? Just beat the dog shit out of Miro.
So what was the end of that interaction? Did Miro just kind of go like, no, I don't have a problem with you, but I don't like what you did, and Punk be like, okay, bro, like he walks away, like
I mean, you're not gonna fucking get away with fighting CM Punk outside of Wembley, so he's probably just like, nigga, I'm not about to fight you, bro.
What are you doing, Jack? I fought him. Do you have a fucking problem? Want to step outside? No. Okay. Like, walked away. Like, all right.
Yeah, Bob the Builder, $2 Canadian.
Brian also said monitors fell on Tony Khan due to the fight. We need this footage, bro. We need this footage right now.
What are you guys doing?
What the fuck are you guys doing back here? Yeah, this is the biggest night of company history. You guys are back here for. Oh my fucking god! These monitors, help me! Punk, Dax, help me!
Yo, Miro's gonna do a video where he's just gonna go super kick party.
What the fuck are you talking about? I've always loved the Elite.
I love the Elite. I love AEW Dynamite. Carry on my wayward son.
When I was a small child back in war-torn Russia, we always used to watch Being the Elite. Some of the best times of my childhood.
Could you?
What the fuck do you mean I'm not Russian?
Could you imagine the next BTE? Young Bucks is just like, is he here? Camera just pans over and just see Miro like sitting there with a
Miro and some fucking fucking 2016 Bullet Club merch, bro.
Yo, listen. Going from Collision to appearing on BTE, it's the new version of like ripping off the NWO black and white shirt, and there's an NWO red and black underneath.
Bro, that time period when AEW just kept signing person after person from WWE. That's what we need to do, bro. BTE is just signing person after person from fucking Collision. Imagine the BTE pop when when fucking Stroke Daddy Ricky Starks just appears on there for the first time in over a year and a half.
Ricky grabs the mic and he's like, I'm tired of people being selfish in this company and people ruining out people's opportunities. I'm sick of it. He's doing his little Ricky scream promo. It's my time now. I don't care who's in this company anymore.
I love AEW. I love professional wrestlers. Never change.
It's wild times, you know. I always dipped out again. Appreciate him again as always for the third time actually. Bodybuilders, $2 Canadian. There's a reason CM Punk visited Raw earlier this year. Yeah, I'm sure. If Tony Khan would actually be open to releasing him, he would. He wouldn't take too long before he ended up over there. Oi Callum 17x £2. Appreciate you. Punk is working for CFFC commentary Saturday. Yeah, of course that was from earlier on. Arm Dragon $5. Appreciate it. At this point, I feel like Punk would welcome a WWE return with open arms. I agree. Dunmaz $5. Appreciate it. BTK calling up Marks and telling him he's the interim real world champ. Yeah, Mox is the guy he loves to fall back on, you know. Half £2, appreciate you. All this over Jack Perry. What happened to the game I love? Hey, man, it's messy over there, you know. Randy $5, appreciate it. Is the Punk suspension pending investigation, or is it based on their findings of the investigation? And is he 100% off all out?
I'd imagine this was asked earlier in the stream, and CM Punk is not going to be at all out. He is suspended, and he is aware that he's suspended now.
But the builder, $2 Canadian. Scoop, Punk was informed through his lawyer. Of course, yes, this was earlier on. I appreciate you for keeping us updated when it happened, though. Shout out, Bob. Manny, $1.99. If I'm Punk, I ain't ever coming. Go to the Fed, please. Manny's been very annoyed and spiteful the past 48 hours. So even after such a great show, which he also enjoyed, you know.
Listen, Monty, all you hear is CM Punk. Acknowledge me.
Stop it. This is big money though. Willie $4.99. Appreciate it. I don't care if it's bingo halls or stadiums. I need Mercedes back in the ring. All of our matches post will be the rear. I've had a big fight feel, and that very few matches have. Yeah, man. Mercedes is awesome, bro. Of course, we was talking about her earlier on, and you know, getting to see her wrestle anyone in the rub that she can give people. Like we saw some of it with Willow earlier on in the year, and like I said, man, if she can get that Julia match, brother, the new star in the business will be born. And that's not to say that she's not a star already, as we already spoke about at length earlier, but that would take her to another level, I think. Randy, $5, appreciate you. If Vince was running AEW, how would he have handled it? Also, how would WWE handle it if a mid-carder and Roman or Seth got into it?
I can tell you exactly what would
Go on.
happen, point by point.
Go on.
Vince McMahon would have forced Punk and the Elite to have a meeting or risk firing. In fact, he might have honestly just not even done the meeting. Just literally say, "You're working him on this day because I chose that you're doing that, and if you say no, you're fired." And that's just that simple. How would they handle a mid-Carter versus Roman or mid-Carter versus Seth? The mid-Carter would not be on TV anymore, and he'd be part of the next round of budget cuts.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me. You know, we fucking, poor Apollo Crews or someone decided to get in Roman Reigns' face on Friday.
No, it's over. He's out of there.
He's fucked.
Monty, you know how Mr. Kennedy got fired? It was because Randy Orton was just like, enough of this fucking guy. It's that simple.
Randy of all people as well.
Yeah, right. He gave like Randy some type of like backdrop suplex, and Randy just didn't like how he did it or whatever, and felt like he almost hurt him. And so Randy's like, "Oh, you fucking idiot" or whatever. And he just told Vince, "This guy's a fucking moron." And Vince was like, "I got you," and fired him.
Click Foley, $5. Appreciate it. And that was from earlier. He's already answered that one. Appreciate it though, Click Foley. Just to process $34, $5. Brawl Out continues feeding families for the dirt sheets. Gonna put SRS and Brian's kids through college. Hey man, they're doing what they got to do. You know, same as we do, I guess. You know, we've just spent over an hour talking about it, and we're currently reading Superchats. You know, so
I have here's another update, Monty. Brody Kings broke his hand.
Oh shit!
He punched a locker and broke his hand.
Unfortunate, but I assume he'll still work and stuff, you know. So we'll see what goes on. Although they have just dropped the trios belt, so there is at least a little space where you can rest it up, I guess.
AEW.
6-star 199. Appreciate you. 42,000 purist maniacs in the Digidome last Sunday. Yeah, man. Like I was saying earlier, that 24-hour stream, brother, on the Twitch. You know, I don't know how they made it. But I appreciate the effort that they all put in, and they had a really good time. And so many people joining and watching and hanging out throughout the day was really great to see, man. And obviously, we was all in, and they've done the watch-alongs, they've done all kinds of stuff on there. Ibu, I know you popped in there a few times, and seemed like everyone had a good time with it, man. So I'm happy with it. And shout out to AO for orchestrating the whole thing, of course. And shout out to you as well, 6-star. As always, we love 6-star. But yeah, that's all the super chats. Have you got any parting notes about anything we spoke about today before we wrap this up like professionals?
AEW's cooked.
Oh. They've definitely got themselves in a situation this week, and we'll see how they deal with it. You know. It's going to be an interesting week ahead. It's already been a very interesting day. I hope we've been able to help you guys be up to date and have a clear idea of what has actually been reported and what has been out there and the information that's been given about the whole CM Punk Jack Perry incident. So I hope everyone that has been able to tune in and stick with us throughout especially when we was talking about that at the start of the show. You know, you know what's going on, and you can kind of you can kind of trust our word of that is what has been reported so far, and we haven't kind of skewed it in any direction or whatever. So yeah, that was kind of my goal with this, to get everyone up to date with what has actually happened, because there's been so many reports that it's been so messy. So hopefully we've done that. And of course we talked about the other news of Mercedes and John Cena, and of course the news that has just broke about what Alvarez said about the Miro situation and Punk being suspended and finding out through his lawyer and blah, blah, blah. It's been a whole lot. Been here for nearly 2 hours because it's a bit of a special episode, I guess, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting episode, of course. Shout out AO for passing through. Yep. And again, shout out everyone who's passed through. If you liked what you liked, if you liked the video, please like it and subscribe to us if you're new here. And we appreciate all the super chats as always. Appreciate everyone who's tuned in. And we will be back tomorrow on Twitch for the AEW Dynamite watch along. I believe that is the next time we will be going live. Of course, those of you who are used to seeing Don Guy live on Tuesdays, our Puro Wrestling show about Japanese wrestling and everything else. International wrestling, to be honest. Let's talk about everything. That has been moved. They're not doing Tuesday evenings anymore. There has been some talks. Ibu. Sources are telling me that Sunday is a potential day for them before your guys' show. So you may have a nice little lead in Ibu. But that is just that's just talks at the minute. We're kind of finding a new slot for them.
Oh, we're talking about dumb guys. Wow, that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
Yeah. We're finding a new slot for them. So, quick last super chat before we get out of here. Trust the process $34. Manny was right about All In being the series finale. Hey, bro. No comment. We hope everyone enjoyed, and we will catch you, like I said, tomorrow on Twitch for the AEW Dynamite watch along. I'm sure it's going to be a very interesting episode. But yeah, shout out everyone. Peace.